to our lunch mob, and it's lunch mob with a council member today. We're so excited. This is good. I know there's a lot happening in our city, but man, there is so much happening in District 6. So we're excited that Councilmember Thompson, or if he tells you how to refer to him, it's just Kevin, has time to be on the call with us today. And I want to thank Eastmark for being our sponsor today. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Eric Toon, who is also a board member with the Mesa Chamber. And Eric's going to give us just a little bit of what's happening at Eastmark. Eric.
Thank you, Sally.
Sure.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Eric Toon, Vice President of Land Development with Brookfield Residential. We're one of the partners in the Master Development Eastmark. Hopefully you all know Eastmark, but I'll give you a quick overview. The 3,200 acre master plan broke ground in 2011, grand opened in 2013. So we are officially 7 years old, and we have grown drastically over the last several years. The 3,200 acres, we only have about 900 left to develop, most of which has been residential. Residential is a very popular land use today, but with Elliott Road being a tech corridor and our partnership with the city of Mesa, having brought Apple to Eastmark as well as EdgeCore, we're working on trying to bring some more employment uses along the Elliott Road Tech Corridor in conjunction with the city. So I guess I can turn it over to Kevin, Councilman Thompson,
Kevin,
after giving a little brief overview.
We've known each other long enough. It's Kevin.
Yes, we go way back.
We go way back.
All right, Kevin, give us an update. What's happening in District 6? Might be a shorter list to say what's not, right?
Yeah. Well, and it was, I met with, so I have a monthly meeting with economic development with Bill Jivniak and with Nana from our planning and zoning. And I told them I would work it into it. And they were like, yeah, I'm sure you will. But I was told that roughly 60% of all the activity going on in the city is happening in D6. So that's a big deal, right? Because what's going on in D6 is helping drive Mesa's economy. And it's the small businesses, it's the large businesses, it's the infill, it's everything. Permits for housing, it's the broad spectrum, and that's really driving revenue for the city, which is a big deal. Not to take away from the other areas within the city, but the other areas are, other than District 5, are pretty landlocked. They're pretty developed. They're older areas of town, so they don't have a lot of land to develop. So you get a lot of the infill and small projects across the other areas of the city. So it's a phenomenal time to be on council, to be able to see this development. I was joking with Bill Jivniak a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I remember when I first sat down on council, and there wasn't a whole lot going on because we were still just coming out of a recession at the time. This was back in 2014, early 2015 when I got seated. And so there wasn't a lot of activity, and it was a time not only for the city to take a deep breath, but it was also an opportunity to sit down and start visioning out what District 6 would look like. And that was something that I went to work on immediately. In fact, I think the very first meeting that I had was with the landowners and with, at the time it was DMB, now Brookfield, for Elliott Road. And I'd gone out to lunch with site selectors after they came in and looked at Mesa, and the reoccurring theme that I was hearing over and over again was Elliott Road Tech Corridor doesn't look inviting. It's at the time you come off the 202 and you turn on to Elliott Road, and it was this little single lane road that kind of meandered through the desert with a bunch of whoops and stuff in it. And so I pushed the city, challenged the city to to develop Elliott Road, to make it more inviting for businesses, right? Because we have all the infrastructure in the ground, water, sewer, the overhead electric, natural gas, fiber, dark fiber, everything's there except the roadway itself. And so we just put about a couple of years ago and just wrapped it up last year, about 11 million into expanding Elliott Road, widening it out, taking the hoops out of it, the hoopty hoops or loopty loops, whatever you want to call it. Took those out because they were no longer needed. Those were primarily for flooding. And we controlled the flooding with different means out there. But anyway, so we finished that up, and now we're starting to see the fruits of our labor, not only with Niagara coming in, but with EdgeCore and a lot of other companies that have been looking in the area. One of the things that Eric was talking about was some of the property that they have left. We are currently in the running for I guess you could say a top 5, but definitely a top 50 company that's a data center looking to come into Arizona, and they're really looking at Mesa. It'd be another big brand, so it's kind of a big deal there. But I spent a lot of time working with planning and zoning and working with economic development, building a vision for what District 6 would look like into the future, and really trying to set the landscape and build the foundation for whoever comes in after me, that they would have something to work with. And we're really starting to see that now, whether it's Ray Road, whether it's the 24, all the activity that's going on. I mean, hey, geez, where do you even start, with all the activity going on? But I guess, Bob, did you ever get that site to work? You got it? So let's pull that up, and we can kind of start walking through that. Also, during this, if anybody has any questions, just jump in, please. I prefer to have this as a dialogue and not a monologue. So feel free to jump in. Pick a dot, any dot. We can start there. Let's see, what is that one? That one is not my district. So I start right at the canal. So there you go. You can hit that one. Neighborhood shopping center. So that is over by the 202 and Baseline. So that is a commercial project that's going in next to Aviva, which is the apartments that butt right up against the 202 on the north side of Baseline. I don't know when they're going to break ground on that. They came in with that one. You can see at the top it says pending planning process. That's the tab at the top. So that was submitted, gosh, quite a while ago, a couple of years ago, and they haven't really moved on that one yet. So I'm still waiting for them to break ground. So find another dot wherever you want to go. There we go. Chrisman Gateway Mixed Use Project. That is, so that was a company that came in. They're looking over, I believe it's the banner. I think it's a banner right there at Baseline and Chrisman. Just north of that, there's a vacant lot right before you get up to the coffee place. They wanted to come in and build apartments. I wasn't all enthused with apartments, just multifamily. So I pushed back and asked if they could do more of a tiered type structure, a true mixed use, where you have retail on the bottom floor, multifamily above, office and so forth. And they said, absolutely, let's see what we can do. And this is what they came back with. So you can see the elevations on the side. So it's really exciting because it's not just multi-family, right? It's going to be a mixed use. So again, that was submitted. I don't know when that was submitted, but we talked to them probably about a year ago, 8 months ago. So good to see that one moving forward. Salad and Ghosts at Signal Butte and Guadalupe. That one was a battle. There was the developer or the landowner. It's right next to the charter school there at Signal Butte and Guad. And the landowner they built the, right next to Legacy Schools, they wanted to build, or they still are going to build, a storage facility. And along with the storage facility, they wanted to build a car wash as well. And so I post all of my pre-submittals. I post them on my campaign Facebook page because that's the one I actually control. I don't control the city one. And there was a huge outrage by the neighborhood surrounding that property, Santa Rita Ranch and Sunland Springs and some of the other ones. They really pushed back against that. I think we had about 900 or so folks that jumped in and opposed the car wash. They didn't really like the idea of the storage, but they were willing to accept storage if something else came other than the car wash. And so one person in particular really ran point on that, met with the zoning attorney, and pushed back on the site itself. And as a result, we have a salad to go that's going to be coming in, and we also have a some burrows that's going to be coming in. So that's really exciting for the neighborhood and for that area. And it was really cool to see the process of the citizens coming up and pushing back and identifying or saying, this is what we want our community and to be, and this is what we want in our community. And so congratulations to the citizens in that area for doing your part and jumping in. So what else you got here, Bob? Yeah, that one's already open. I don't know why. Oh, wait a minute. Is this the, oh, I'm sorry. No, this is so the Dignity Hospital there at Elliott and Signal Butte, there's a group that wants to come in and build, as part of Dignity, they want to build a medical office just north of the hospital, going north on Elliott or Ellsworth from Elliott. And so, so we're looking forward to that. They originally submitted some plans, oh gosh, probably 2 years ago, and they had an awful lot of parking, and there was a huge distance between the medical offices and Dignity, the hospital itself. And so we asked them if they could really flip that so that there was, that the medical offices were closer to the hospital, with the parking maybe a little further away. So they changed some stuff. Really looking forward to this one coming in, because this has potential really to set the tone for that whole northwest corner of Elliott and Signal Butte, or Ellsworth and Elliott, sorry. Ooh, this is a really cool one. Cannon Beach, and actually Alicia's trying to schedule a conference call with the zoning attorney and land developer on that. So Cannon Beach is a guy came in, gosh, probably a year and a half ago and said, hey, I got this idea and here's what I want to do. And I was like, absolutely, when can you start? So he wants to build a wave pool for competition surfing, and surround it with a hotel, restaurants, you know, the whole 9 yards, offices. I was like, how cool would it be to have an office where you can look out over a giant wave pool and watch people surf? I don't know if I'd actually get any work done if I sat in the office and did that. But it's right just north of the tire facility there on Power, just north of the 202. And so to the south side of that, he wants to build some industrial buildings. It's just, what is it? It's south of Warner, just north of the tire place. But on the south end of the project, he wants to do some industrial type buildings to hide the tire facility, to give the wave pool a nice backdrop. So I'm really looking forward to that one. As far as I know, he is doing some testing out there right now on the soil and on the water and everything else. He has his investors in place. He's ready to break ground. So I'm really looking forward to that one moving on. That's the industrial piece that he's going to build to the south. So they're ready to break ground now. So we're trying to work with them to get permits and stuff out quickly. That's Eastmark, and then the next one's Cadence. Eric can talk about those if he wants to. Those are pre-submittals.
Sure. So the two sites on Eastmark, those are future apartment complexes. I believe it's somewhere in the range of about 600 units total. And premiere at Eastmark, they actually have a phase that they have already started construction on, is due to open, I think, within the next month. They're about 60% leased out already.
Wow.
And then Acero is another apartment site.
So Eric, can you tell everybody how many, once completely built out, excluding multifamily, how many units are you going to have in Eastmark?
Right now, we're on target for somewhere in the range of about 9,000 residential units, not including apartments or condos.
Wow.
We're entitled for up to 15,000. So,
Well, that's a car wash. I'm actually meeting with the developer because there were some folks in Eastmark that didn't like the idea of having a car wash there. This is by the Safeway at Warner, or Point 22 and Signal Butte. So I have to meet with the zoning attorney here in the next week or two to kind of try to talk them through what the concerns of the citizens are on that. Legacy Sports Park, really cool project. So this is a privately funded sports complex. Right now it's sitting in the county. They're trying to annex into Mesa. They're working on that. There's rumor out there that they want to start construction probably at the end of this month. Unless they're doing that under a county permit, I don't really see that happening. But last I had heard on this one, they were working with the city on what utility requirements are going to be in place, what street improvements are going to be in place, and so forth. So one of the things that we do as a city, and Eric can kind of attest to this as well, is that we put the onus of roadway development on the developer that's building the project. And that way we don't have to put it on the backs of the citizens. We don't go out to necessarily do transportation bonds just to widen out streets for different projects. We have the projects themselves do that. So it saves our citizens tax dollars that way. So that was the last I'd heard. I'm really looking forward to that one. I hope they'll be able to annex into Mesa before too long. Last I'd talked to them was probably about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And they were moving along pretty well. So looking forward to that one. So this is just basically an industrial, office and warehouse down off of Pecos Road. It kind of matches what's already down there in that area. Bob, if you go up to the top where it says site plan zoning approved, the tab at the top, hit that one. Those are all the ones that have already been approved. That some of those have really just been approved by council before we went on break.
Well, thanks.
So,
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Multifamily, residential, where's this one at?
Is there a particular one you want me to zero in on for you?
No, just
supposed to be on a Zoom,
just
so-
kind of cruising along.
Okay. I'll just kind of give each one a couple seconds and
Okay,
you just
there
tell me
you
when
go.
to stop.
Yeah, that'll work. So this one is a cool one. So this is a guy that came in, wanted to do, he wanted to build assisted living in this location. It was one that some pads were already built out there. Electric was already ran. It was supposed to be a medical office complex. And during the downturn, during the recession, they went bankrupt, sold the property, and it's just been sitting there idle. So this out of state guy came in, bought the property, wanted to build assisted living. I threw him out of my office. I said, absolutely not, because you already have 3 just north of there, one at the corner of Chrisman and Southern, one just south of that on Hampton and Chrisman, and there was another one that was being planned at the time, also on Chrisman and or Chrisman and Hampton. And so I pushed back against this one, told him, you need to bring something else to the table. And this is what he brought. So he's going to be a multifamily pushed to the back, tucked into the back, a hotel out front, as well as some restaurants and so forth. And so really had them work with the with the community to the west of them, because I wanted to make sure, one of my pet peeves is to make sure that if you're building an apartment complex, they don't have direct line of sight into a residential house or backyard. So we made sure that they were offset far enough that the line of sight would not give somebody living in the top floor a view into the backyard of the residential. And then we also pushed for more landscaping to also help block that view. And that one, the guy couldn't get his funding in place, so that one's done. So you can go to the next one. So this is the corner of basically Hampton and Charisma, just north of the 202. Tucked in behind it is multifamily, and then this is the piece that's going to be the retail commercial that we always keep on the hard corners. So really cool. They proposed having a hotel out there. I don't know necessarily right now with the economy the way it is, and with the downturn that we're experiencing in hotel reservations, that they're going to find a readily available hotel that's willing to put the money into it right now. So we'll wait and see on that one what happens. Mountain Vista Marketplace. This was one that it took us probably a year to work through a development agreement with the landowner. They originally wanted to come in and build all multifamily and residential across this piece. This really is the entryway into the city from the US 60 if you're going westbound from AJ. And so we wanted something a little more spectacular than just a bunch of multifamily. And so there are some there's going to be some multifamily and office in there, but the piece that I really like is the frontage on Charisma south of Hampton, or on Signal Butte south of Hampton. That's a Thompson group. They came in, Thompson Thrift. They came in and bought this piece from the developer, from the landowner, and they want to develop retail there. So there's going to be some commercials, commercials. There's going to be some commercial there, I think office, as well as maybe a gym. And then there's going to be restaurants dotted throughout the area. One of the things that we pushed on is they came in originally and wanted to do 5 or 6 pads with drive-throughs. We pushed back on that because, you know, I don't want more fast food in the city, or at least in District 6. They pop up, McDonald's, Burger Kings. Nothing against them. Obviously, they're very lucrative, or they wouldn't be building as many as they are. But I think our citizens deserve something a little bit better. And so we pushed back. And one of the things that we did is we increased the square footage of each of the pads so that it wouldn't be so enticing to a McDonald's or Burger King or fast food, because most of those are looking for, you know, 12 to 1,400 square feet. We pushed these upwards of 17 to 2,000 square foot pads. And so, so hopefully we'll get some decent restaurants coming into that area as well.
Is you up here in the corner too?
That is, yes. So that's just a Kia dealership. So nothing overly exciting there. Not that it's not exciting, right? Utility Construction Company. This is up off of Elliott Road, kind of tucked in towards the power lines. I'm not exactly sure what they manufacture, but hey, welcome to the district. Edge Connect. So Edge Connect's bought the entire piece of property from the power lines at Hawes and Elliott. They bought the entire piece. I think it was like 136 acres. They were going to build back in the day when Microsoft was looking to come in. Microsoft decided they were going to go to Goodyear, and when they did, Edge Connects kind of stopped building. And so this piece, I'm hearing that it is in escrow. There's a group looking to buy this piece of property and develop it into more of like warehouse office type stuff. So that's okay. I'm good with that. So Digital Realty, they're a co-share data center. Most of your small, like EdgeCore, EdgeConnects, those guys are their co-share space, I guess, is kind of a good way, or I guess data center, digital realty. One of the things that they do is they build like a data center, and then they lease storage space to the big boys like Google, Microsoft, and some of those, sort of like what EdgeCore is doing, their facility down in Eastmark. It's crossing. Let's skip that one because I'll get angry. D2 Tactical, that was going to be a really cool project. Unfortunately, the owner passed away. And so that project's just been sitting. I don't necessarily know that if anybody's going to pick that one up and run with it right now. So it's just kind of sitting there, which is a bummer. So board development along Ray Road, and this is over by, I think this is the piece that's on the south side by Eurocontempo. So we're going to see more and more, and you will see more probably in a press release coming up shortly, more extensions of what you're seeing on Ray Road as far as the industrial warehousing. They can't build it fast enough. They're leasing it before it's even built. So it's one of those, if you build it, they will come. Well, they're coming, and before it's even built. So that's pretty cool that we're seeing that activity. Again, more office along the Power Road corridor, especially within proximity to the 202. Gallery Park, that one, I mean, we had so much momentum on that, and kind of the COVID hit and everything kind of slowed down, but they have already done their first development out there on the southeast corner, I guess, of Power and Ray Road. So they have the first piece of the project done. This is a Starbucks that they're wanting to build just north of that, and then they're looking to break into the residential piece, and then start bringing the restaurants in. So we're trying to line up the phasing on that to get them rolling. Again, this is more of the mixed use industrial that you're going to be seeing along Ray Road. So really cool stuff that's taking place out there. So this is the Cadence piece. This is their commercial site. So this is what this will kind of almost mirror, I guess, what Eastmark will do on the north side of Ray Road. But this is their commercial that it was originally all planned this way, where you'd have the residents would have to drive through the commercial piece to get into Cadence. So I know right now they have, there's a gym that they've been talking to, as well as a Quick Trip that's already decided they're going to come there. And we'll see what else comes. I begged them not to put a Burger King or a McDonald's there, and so we'll see what happens. I know they sent a survey out to their citizens or to their residents at Cadence, asking them what type of restaurants and stuff they would like to see there. So that'll be really, really cool. Let's see what the citizens came back with. That's the Quick Trip. You can probably skip all those. Yeah, so those are all the DUs and stuff with Cadence.
Let's go down here.
Yeah, so the master plan residential community. So this one is multifamily, and then, or not multifamily, I'm sorry. This is residential to the north of the SR24 and to the east of Chrisman. And then of course the corner there is being held out for the commercial retail piece, like we do on everything. So this is just another master plan community. Destination Gateway, pretty much the exact same thing out there. So no surprises. It's going to be another residential piece. And that's the continuance of that. Arizona Propane is just that. It's bringing a propane facility in there. So one of the things that we did when talking about visioning, and I met with the landowners again, but when the SR24, one of the things we want to do is protect Boeing's ability to come in and out, right? They have ingress and egress rights at Gateway Airport. And one of the things we want to do is make sure that we protect their ability to come in and out of Gateway and fly out into the desert to do their hovering and whatever it is that they need to do. And so we helped steer the conversation between the development community and Boeing to say, hey, use the SR-24 as your ingress and egress, right? Because if you're going to have to set down a UAV or a Chinook or an Apache or any other type of aircraft, would you rather land it on a freeway or in a subdivision? And so they agreed and said, yes, let's use the 24. So what that allowed us to do was really to say, okay, everything north of the 24, we're okay if it's residential, but south of the 24, we don't want residential, because Germain Road, really, Germain and Pecos are really our heavy industrial corridors. So those are where the CMCs, the Bridgestones, the CRM crushed rubber, the Fuji, that's where all those facilities are at and located. And so the idea for me was, from the 24, you would start coming from the south, from south of the 24, continuing south, you would really start with your commercial, retail, and then move into light industrial, and then finally into heavy industrial as you move further south. So the idea is not to have any residential in that area that'll be encroaching on any of our businesses out there, but it also allows Boeing to have that ingress and egress in and out of Gateway Airport, which is needed for those guys. So yeah, though cobblestone auto spa. I swear to God, District 6 has the dirtiest cars in the entire city, but I'm glad they're building it down there and not in the middle of a residential component. Retail shops, I'm not sure which one this one is in particular, because we've talked to several people down there, so I get confused when we get into that area, because there's a number of individuals we've been talking to about building some retail, restaurants, industrial, light industrial type facilities down there. And this one's named after me. Not really. So these folks came in, gosh, probably about 4 years ago. They are a company, I believe they are in Chandler. They have multiple offices, and what they're wanting to do is consolidate and bring them all under one roof. But they build the big giant framework for the big glass panels and stuff that you see in office buildings and so forth. So pretty cool what they're wanting to do. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Bob. So
yeah, I think we covered all the dots, unless you want to start bleeding over into somebody else's district.
That's it, Kevin, really?
That's it.
A little light, buddy.
You can go on the building construction plan reviews and permits issued, and just kind of click through the other tabs, and you'll see everything that's going on. But yeah, so you can see there's a lot of dots. I wish there was one that you could click on and bring up all the dots. I mean, it would just cover District 6. Yeah, you can see there's a lot going on, and a lot of these are projects that have been in the works for a couple of years, and well, since I came on council. And so it's exciting to see them go from the pre-submittal all the way through and start construction.
Kevin, let's open it up for some questions.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Anybody have a question for Kevin? I think somebody put something in chat. I just need to find it. We'll share the recording, so you don't have to worry about that if you want to share it with others.
I just want to say you're a rock star.
Okay, so thank you, Lee. I was just going to say, I wanted to just thank Lee and David Romney from Congressman Biggs' office for being on the call today. Great to have them here. Maybe Linda or somebody from SRP might be able to give a little update, because obviously all the stuff that Kevin is working on with the city can't happen without the support of our friends at SRP.
Right. And Linda's keeps me appraised of what's happening in, on the SRP side. So I get probably every 2 weeks I get an email from Linda that says, hey, just FYI. which is
There's
cool.
there's always one coming, but that's where our largest growth area is in Kevin's district, District 6. We have some power line projects going on near, what was the data center that you mentioned?
Edge Connects.
Digital Realty?
Oh, Digital Realty, yeah.
Realty. Yeah, we're doing the work for them, so you might see some SRP construction going on there, and then some power lines from there along the Elliott Road Tech Corridor to another substation. And then 10 years ago, we were approved for a big transmission project that was to go 20 miles starting in Gilbert. It goes through just a corner of District 6 and Mesa and extends down to Queen Creek. And we have until December of 2021 to build it. But with COVID and everything, our budget's being affected like the cities and everyone else's budget. And this is a project that we can delay without affecting any of the growth in Mesa. So we are going to be going to the Arizona Corporation Commission and ask if we can postpone that project for 5 years, just because it's why build it right now when we don't need it, and then with cuts on budget, we really don't have the money to do it right now. So there's no use passing that on. So that's all in District 6 as well. So keep them busy there.
Thanks, Linda. Hey, Kevin, you have a question about why does Haas Crossing make you angry?
Yeah, go figure. So Haas Crossing, not that it makes me angry, it just makes me, I guess, disappointed, probably more than anything, because, you know, with everything that's happening in District 6, there's so much potential, and everything that's going on with Gateway Airport, there's so much potential, and Haas Crossing takes away from that economic development opportunity and fills a lot of that area in with housing, and starts encroaching with housing onto Gateway Airport into the flight paths and so forth. And so I'm disappointed that the city didn't take a stronger stance and push back against residential encroachment on Gateway Airport. We obviously didn't learn our lessons from all the encroachment that we allowed to happen on Falcon Field and the issues that caused. And we turned around, we did the exact same thing for Gateway Airport. And so it's very disappointing to see that we didn't take a stronger stance as a community and as a city and as leaders in our community, that we didn't want to protect the airport and the economic development potential for those SRP power lines, because that's what the businesses are chasing, the manufacturing and so forth. They need that power, and that's what they're chasing. But unfortunately, we're gonna fill it in with residential.
So Laura Mutz also just wanted to confirm that that's the property that the dairy farmers had sold.
Correct. Yeah.
But there's one dairy, right, that is not part of that?
Yeah, so the Morrison dairy, I think it's the Morrison, or it's the Arizona, always forget the name of it, Arizona dairy. It's the, if you're familiar with the area, it's the largest dairy out there, and that's the one that's right at Sossaman and Elliott on the south side. It's one of the largest dairies out there. They are not, Arizona dairy, there you go. They're not part of the project. So you're still going to have the smells, you're still going to have the flies, you're still going to have everything that's associated with a dairy. Just a little, it is what it is. They were here long before us, and you just kind of got to respect that.
Do you have anything else on State Route 24?
So I meet with Senator Farnsworth. He has an ad hoc transportation group. Dawn Helms she and I are part of that. We meet every other month. We just had a meeting a while back. We've kind of moved on from the 24, and we're talking more about the north-south freeway now. And I'll tell you in a minute why that's important to Mesa. or should be important to Mesa. But the 24, as far as I know, they're still on schedule, even with COVID and everything that's going on. So that project, they did go out to RFP on that. The results should be coming in. If they haven't already, they should be coming in soon. And then that project awarded. Construction, I believe, is supposed to start early spring of next year, late this year, early spring of next year, and then it'll be wrapped up around the fall of 2021, spring of 2022-ish timeframe. It's a big deal, right? Because it's going to allow more of the cars to come up out of Santan Valley, and it'll eliminate some of the traffic that's on the 60 as you get to Ironwood. It'll also eliminate a lot of the traffic that you see on Ellsworth Road. So you'll get a lot more cars. They're expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000 cars a day coming in and out of Santan Valley in that area using the 24. And it's going to be, if you ever traveled out to the west side when the 303 was developed, it's going to be a lot like the 303, where it's all going to be at grade level. They're basically just going to grade it, throw down asphalt. It's going to be a 2-lane road each direction. And they'll call that the SR24. And then as MAG gets funding available, then they'll start doing the elevations and the subs and so forth. So you'll see the bridges and whatever come in and the exits and everything. So for right now, there's going to be just traffic signals and so forth. But again, it'll help alleviate a lot of the traffic issues that Queen Creek's having and help expedite the traffic coming in and out of Santan. And so why it's a big deal, the north-south freeway, let me circle back to that real quick. So one of the things that I've talked about for years, so before I got on council and I was in the world of the utilities, I was involved in the I-11 corridor discussion. And my job was to make sure that the utilities, or at least the utility that I worked for, had the ability to get across or under the I-11 and to make sure that we had utility corridors and so forth. And so I was pretty in tune what was going on with the I-11. And so then when I got elected to council and I really started looking at the I-11, I started looking at the north-south freeway, it occurred to me that if we don't get the I-11, if we don't get the north-south freeway built, before the I-11 gets built, you're going to see the East Valley become, I always say the I-11 is going to do to the East Valley what the I-40 did to Route 66, right? It kind of makes us obsolete. And the reason I say that is your I-11 is going to be your major corridor from Mexico to Canada. And so if you're a manufacturer or you're a large business of scale and you're looking to do imports, exports with Mexico, Canada, and so forth, you're going to start building in Buckeye because that's where, if you build in Buckeye, you have instant access to I-8 to San Diego. You have instant access to the I-10 to go into California, into LA, to the ports. You can also go to Mexico to the deep ports, and you can go to Canada. And so Buckeye becomes the place to be. Well, if we can get the north-south freeway built before the I-11 goes in, that allows a lot of that trucking traffic to come up through Casa Grande, from Cacho Peak up through Casa Grande, Florence, or not Casa Grande, Coolidge, Florence, Apache Junction, and into Queen Creek and into Mesa and into the airport area. And so it allows more of your trade with Mexico to come into the Southeast Valley that otherwise would be going to Buckeye. And so one of the things that I'm pushing very hard on is trying to get the environmentals done, trying to figure out where the money is and how we can get it funded, even though it's Pinal County. It's not even remotely close to Mesa or within our jurisdiction, but it's an important component of transportation that needs to be done for the benefit of Mesa and for the benefit of the entire East region. Because without it, we're done. You don't really need to be here as a manufacturer. You can do it all in Buckeye and Glendale and Peoria and those areas. So I'm trying to keep businesses in the east side And so, I'll continue to support Pinell County and their endeavors to get the North-South Freeway built.
Thanks.
Do we have any other questions?
Lee or David, do you have anything from Congressman Biggs' office?
I'll defer to you, David.
Can I defer back? No, we always love joining you guys, and Councilmember, it was great to hear some of these updates. Please let us know at all if there's any federal nexus to those or how our office can be involved in helping to improve the East Valley. We're really excited to see these new roads and developments come in, and they provide jobs, they provide infrastructure. So any way that our office can help, please keep us posted.
For sure.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
David.
No, and you bring up something too, Dale. I want to do a little plug real quick. So we have a transportation bond that's going to be on the ballot in November. We really need that. The majority of the projects on that bond are in Southeast Mesa. So I don't have the list. I should have gotten the list. I didn't get it. But we have a list of all the projects that are on there. I can tell you the majority of them are in Southeast Mesa, whether it's Ellsworth or Signal Butte, Prisman, Sossaman. I would like to punch Sossaman all the way through from Ray Road to Warner Road. I think that opens up the southern part of the Hawes Crossing to development. And so there's a lot of projects that are on there. For us, it's new infrastructure. For the west side, it's repairing old infrastructure. So we really need that bond. And I'll try to get some information on that, Sally, and share that with you.
Okay, that'd be good.
Push it out to everyone.
Cool. Well,
So what's everybody eating, by the way? Is anybody eating? Let me scroll through, see if anybody's eating.
if you want to learn more about
the like
transportation bond, government affairs this Friday, we will have a couple of folks from the city talking about that and what the specifics are. So if you want to learn more, just go online and register for government affairs, and you'll get a Zoom invite, and we'd love to have you join us.
And that's this Friday at 7:30.
It is.
Awesome. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yes,
Virtually.
you will, Kevin. Yes, you will. Anybody have any other questions? Comments? Eric, any final thoughts from Eastmar?
No, just keep bringing stuff, Kevin.
Working on it, man. It's like I said, it's really cool time to be on council, to see all the hard work that our economic development folks have put forward, and all the work that planning and zoning has done to really see the fruits of that labor come to fruition out here. And everybody is on the same page, which wasn't always the case, but I can tell you now, again, I've been meeting with planning and zoning and economic development since day one. We have a meeting every single month just to make sure we're all on the same page, that we're all moving in the same direction, and that we're telling the same story for District 6 at least. And but to see all that now is really cool to watch these projects move.
It is definitely a fun time to be in this district. Yeah. And I also have to apologize, because when I see something, like on the side of the street that I don't like, I text my council member. Hey, there's tire here.
Yeah, as you should. Pick it up and throw it over the fence, Sally. No, but at the end of the day, that to me, that's what being a council member is about, right? I represent you. You don't work for me. I work for you. And so, I'm a citizen just like you're a citizen, and the same things that bother you are the same things that bother me. It's just when I yell at somebody, they move a little bit quicker than they do if you were to take a picture of it and send it into the city. So when I see a pothole, you see a pothole, you take a picture with the app and you send it into the city, and probably a week later, the pothole gets filled. I see the pothole, I call the the director of transportation and tell him where the pothole is. He sends a crew out and the pothole's fixed pretty much that day. And so, so if you see things out there, you know, let me know if you're not getting, if staff's not helping you, and or if you're lost and you don't have another place to turn, or you're not sure what's supposed to happen next, let me know. You can message me. You can call my office. You can message me on Facebook. I don't know if anybody follows me at I call it my campaign page, but it's my Facebook page is at Thompson for Mesa. That's where I post. That's the Facebook page that I control. The one at the city I don't control. They won't let me post on that one because they're afraid I'll say something that will get everyone in trouble, because I have a tendency to do that sometimes. And but you can follow me on there. A lot of people, a lot of our citizens will message me and tell me about things that are going on, whether it's, you know, problems with roads or problems with contractors or what have you, or just ask questions, and I try to respond as quickly as I can and keep everyone in the loop. So again, I work for you. You know, I'm your representative at the council and at the city. So and that's how I've always looked at it. So whatever I can do to help you and help our community be better and stronger, that's what I'm after.
All right. Well, it looks like maybe there are no other questions, so we'll let everybody jump off and probably on to their next calls. But Kevin, thank you so much for all you do.
Absolutely.
For the chamber, for our residents, for our businesses, and frankly, for the future of Mesa and specifically D6. We appreciate your efforts and how you're always standing up for all of us on this call and everybody else.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally. Thank you for the chamber and for Eric and Linda. Thank you guys. And Lee, couldn't thank the Congressman's office more for all the assistance and help that they've given us over the years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah,
and
enjoy
Eric,
your lunch
thank you and Eastmark. We appreciate you guys sponsoring today's lunch mob, and we'll see you all again on the next call.